Well, that's not gonna work. Hey everyone, my name is Matt and welcome back to the farm. Well, I wanted to take advantage of the last sunny day we have scheduled here on the farm before some rain moves in tomorrow and get an off the farm mowing job done. But I ran into a little bit of a snag with the mower that I'm borrowing. This mower is an 8-foot John Deere pull type mower. It's got a hydraulic cylinder on it for raising and lowering the rear of the mower. I use it on my Farmall 460 with a fast hitch, so it makes it real easy to adjust the pitch from the front. But otherwise, you have this crank handle that you can rotate in either direction, and it either retracts or extends this pivot point. And what that does is it takes the front of the deck and levels it out one way or the other if you're going to run this tractor on a fixed drawbar. But with us running it on the 460 with the fast hitch does that for us, so we don't have to worry about that. I originally brought this mower down because this has this tire that goes soft after a couple hours time. So I was going to fix that for my friend that's letting me borrow this mower. But I also took the side shields off to grease it, and just checking things out, I found this bearing assembly on the spindle that was bad. So we got to get that spindle assembly taken apart so I can figure out what kind of bearings it has and see if I can come up with some bearings. And we're also going to get a tube for this, so that's what we're going to get working on now. Now let's get this belt off of here. There. Take that off for now. Alright. Well, first thing it looks like I gotta do is get this key out of here. Spacer off of there. From what I'm seeing from past experience, this T-bar is welded to the spindle that goes up through the housing. So I'm guessing that this housing can just come up off of here, and the castle nut that's on top is what sets your preload. So I don't believe there's anything else that I have to take off in order to get this housing up off of the spindle. Well, that's interesting. This looks like it has regular roller bearings in it. I would have figured it had tapered roller bearings. Well, let's see if we can get that bearing out. Yep, that bearing's shot. Well, that bearing is actually set up. It's not loose. But if you look at the housing, you can see where there's a groove wore in here. So I think what's happened is this bearing set up and then it started spinning in the housing. And now it's got the housing wore down so much that the slop is actually in the housing and not in the bearing. Well, I got the inner race cleaned off where the part number is for this bearing, and it took a magnifying glass and a flashlight to be able to read the part number on that. But it's an 88107 AYY is the part number, and both bearings are the same. I got a caliper out and measured at least the outside diameter and the best I could the inside diameter without taking this one off. This bearing is not going to be very easy to get off of there. Can't get a cheese cutter or anything down in there to pull it off of there. You got two ears that stick up to help keep debris from building up inside the spindle housing. So I'm probably going to end up taking a torch and cutting the outer race off and slicing the inner race with a torch and getting that off of there. So both bearings appear to be the same. So I'm going to go look up, see what I can find out for bearings, and we'll get back with you. Well, I got a hold of the owner and we talked about it, and I ordered some bearings for it. We're going to see how some new bearings fit, and we'll go from there as far as the housing, what we're going to do to kind of rectify that situation. But it's going to sit in front of the shop for now, and we're going to move on to a couple other jobs to do. Well, it looks like we've lost our sunny skies. Looks like the clouds are moving in from the south and west over here. In this metal trash can is where we keep our 21% chick starter feed that we feed our broiler chicks while they're in the brooder. They eat this for the first 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll transition them over to the regular broiler feed that's 19% protein, and this is what the broiler chicks are fed when they're out in the pasture box for the remainder of their lifespan here on the farm. So we got one more batch of chicks coming. They're going to be a batch of 100. Half of them are going to go in the freezer for winter stock for our existing customers that we can sell to them right off the farm throughout the winter. And then the other half will get us through farmers market. Yesterday evening, Stacy and I delivered a load of second cut and hay we had on the gooseneck trailer. So that job's done. We ended up having a little bit left over, so this is just going to go in the barn up with the rest of the second cut and hay up on the top floor of the barn. They certainly are getting more tolerant of me, especially when I have a green bucket in my hand. The pigs know what time it is. These pigs just cannot leave this GoPro alone. Every time I come in here, they always got to mess with it. Looks like we got a few of our old lady hens out. Looks like 4 of them. That's kind of a common occurrence around here on the farm. They don't necessarily like to stay inside the perimeter of this fence. Well, once we get the bearings for that mower, we'll get that put back together, get a tube for the tire, and then we'll go do the mowing that we intended on doing. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like our channel, as always, we ask you to subscribe. We hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.